if you're new to this, yes, write in your queries to us on the number that will be flashing on the top of your screen in a short while from now. Do mention the stock name that you are looking to invest in or have invested in. If you've already invested in, do let us know the quantity, the buy price, so that we can help you better. And also, don't forget to mention the time horizon that you're looking to hold this particular counter. So let's get going with all the queries that we've already had pouring in. And the first one, before that, actually, before taking the query, let me go across to Kunal. And Kunal, let me ask you about Sensex. We've had the market snap its gaining streak. You have Sensex that is hovering around the 55,500 odd levels. How are the charts looking for the benchmark?
So, last week we were discussing this, that, Sensex has a major resistance now at 56,000 on the spot levels approximately. 55,500 is very close last week. And, from there I was expecting that the range would get a bit more contracted for Sensex. So 56,000 as a resistance and 55,000 as a support. So I continue to hold that view that we could now be getting into the zone of a bit more, a tepid kind of a rise as well as a fall for the Sensex, and 55,500 could act as a major pivot point. But I don't see any major movement coming across over the next couple of days at least, and expecting 56,000 as a major resistance. I think that's the high which we've made on the opening as well today. And I continue to believe that that could be acting as a sort of a resistance for at least the next couple of days.
Okay, all right, that's the view on the benchmark index. We've got several questions that have lined up. The first one that I'm going to take is on Kansai Nerolac. And we've got Pushkar Saxena, who's writing in from Patna, and he's already acquired this at levels of 344.78. And he's asking about the prospects for this counter. Avinash, this one's for you. 2 to 3 years. Kansai Nerolac, does it look good?
Yeah, Alex, I think Kansai Nerolac is a very large, supplier of automotive paints. Also supplies to the residential, construction segment. And considering the fact that crude prices have now become slightly softer and hopefully they should come down, the main raw material cost is definitely going to be in some sort of control. But looking at the fact that automotive sector is now showing strong green shoots, and we should expect stronger growth in the automotive sector, that should definitely help a company like Kansai Nerolac over the next, say, 12 to 18 months. So I think if he can hold on for a reasonably long time of 12 to 18 months, I think he could definitely expect a decent risk reward here.
Okay, this one is coming in from Karthik, and Karthik wants to know whether it makes sense for him to look to invest in JSW Energy for the longer term, but he wants a technical view on this. So Kunal, JSW Energy, how does this one look to you?
So it looks attractive, but may not be the best price to buy the stock. It's a very volatile stock. It tends to go into high momentum phases of rally and then a very sharp phase of correction as well. Similar correction has panned out for JSW Energy from 400 levels. I think in October 2021, the stock at one point had fallen to below 200 mark. So a correction of more than 50%. I believe that the stock would take at least another 2 to 3 months to consolidate just about this 200 mark for itself. So I think a better time to buy the stock would be just around the 200 mark and possibly over the next 1 to 2 months.
All right. Sushila is writing in from Bellary and asking about Delta Corp. We've spoken about this stock in the recent past. In fact, we also interviewed the management at the end of last week. But Avinash, on the fundamentals, there's a lot that's at play for this stock, right? And for this company, they have quite a bit in the works that will expand operations, but that will play out over the next 2 to 3 years. Would you suggest that this is a good time to enter Delta Corp?
Yeah, I think, Alex, this is one of those companies which has got a very unique business model. And despite the fact that, the casino business has seen ups and downs post-COVID, I would not be surprised that over the next 1 to 2 years, as normalcy starts kicking in, the propensity to increase, money on such kind of entertainment kind of possibilities looks very strong. The company has said that, they would be looking at gaming as a very big revenue generator. In fact, the management has also said earlier that they propose to make a public issue of their gaming business very soon. So some sort of value unlocking should also come in for the company from this venture. Overall, if the investor has got the next 12-18 months time frame, he should definitely look at investing here, because normalcy having kicked in, I think the real season for Delta Corp is the second half of every financial year, and that is the time when they earn a significant amount of revenue and profits. So I would suggest him to hold on, And even if he wants to buy, keep a time frame of 12 to 18 months where he could expect a decent risk reward.
Okay, let's talk about Nazara Tech then. And Barun Rao has a query. He wants to know whether he can buy Nazara Tech at current levels for the next for a time frame of about 1 to 2 years. And if not Nazara Tech, then is there any other counter that you would suggest him? Kunal, for you.
Well, Nazara Tech, no. I believe, I would suggest, in fact, an avoid because the stock has been consistently falling. I think, if I'm not wrong, this is the 7th straight month that the stock has been falling quite sharply. There was a special situation as well for Nazara, I think, if I'm not wrong, just about a couple of months back. So chart patterns are not looking attractive. I would suggest an avoid. So you might have a period of a bounce in between for, the stock after a 7 month of correction, but then to try and understand the price action and way the markets have reacted in the last 6-7 months, it indicates that the price trends for Nazara over the near to medium term could be on the downside further from current levels. In case if you're looking to buy other names, then I would suggest a few large cap stocks. So you can look at something like ICICI Bank or L&T at current levels. And if you're looking to buy some of the financial stocks, then I would probably suggest even a Bajaj Finance at current levels.
Okay, I'm coming back to you, Kunal, on this next one. Tinplate of India is the name of the Tinplate Company of India is the name of the counter. It's down in trade today, but the question is, can it be bought today? This is from Chandan Jain from Hubli, Karnataka. And can it be bought at the current level with a target of 350 in 6 months? It's trading very close or just below that 200-day moving average.
Yeah, it's trading slightly below the long-term averages, but Tinplate has not been one of the few stocks which has fallen very sharply. So the stock in times of the pandemic was almost at 55 rupees. From there, the stock had rallied up to 440, and from 440, the stock has gone through a correction, and now it's back at approximately the 300 mark for itself. So I think, if I'm not wrong, so I think in that regards, I believe Tinplate looks to be quite attractive. So Tinplate is what I would suggest as a hold at current levels.
Okay, I just want to point out, we're not talking about Timken India. If we can pull up the chart of Tinplate, Tinplate, that's the counter. So the viewers hold on, don't invest.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, moving on then, let's talk about HDFC Life. And Ramachandran has a few shares of HDFC Life purchased at around 580 rupees per share. Avinash, I'll come to you for this query. He wants to know whether it's right time to add some more of this counter. He actually is planning to stay invested in this one for the next 3 to 4 years. Does it make sense to stay invested in HDFC Life for that longer period of time? No doubt. Insurance is under-penetrated in India. And also, should he add some more?
Yeah, I think looking at the fact that insurance companies are not many in the market, and secondly, HDFC Life is the market leader. My suggestion is, insurance business is not something which can be evaluated on a quarter-to-quarter basis, and therefore, if the investor has got at least the next 2 to 3 years in mind, he can definitely use the current weakness to actually accumulate little more. But definitely, in terms of the numbers which came out recently, HDFC Life management has been quite positive post-COVID. I think the growth numbers have definitely improved. And I think going forward, considering the fact that several new products are planning to be launched, the profitability is going to get better. So if the investor has a medium to long-term time frame, I think he can definitely accumulate. But time frame needs to be maintained at these levels, because in the very near term, the stock is not cheap. It's fairly expensive. So only in the longer term, one can expect a decent risk reward here.
This next question is coming your way as well, Avinash, and this is on 3 counters. We've got Deepak Nitrite, SRF, as well as Naveen Fluorine. The question is from Professor Thomas V. George, who's writing in from Ernakulam, and he's asking, which of these 3 would you bet on for the long term?
See, I think my guess is longer term, Naveen Fluorine could be a better bet, because not only because Q1 numbers have been very strong, but I think clearly from the fluorine business, Naveen Fluorine stands a better chance to have a better risk reward as compared to Deepak Nitrite or SRF. However, it doesn't mean that Deepak Nitrite and SRF are not good investment choices. SRF has also shown a very strong performance in their Q1 numbers, and Deepak Nitrite continues to show decent numbers because phenol and acetone, which are their key products, continue to be in good demand. But from an investor perspective, if the investor has got a couple of years in mind, then I think Naveen Fluorine could be a better bet, because I think the tailwinds for this company are much stronger than the other 2.
Showing quite a lot of strength in trade today. Neil, by the way, is saying, why do you say slip into a break? It's like saying good morning. You just get used to it, right? But Neil, we are going to get into a break right now. Avinash as well as Kunal, do stay with us, and viewers also do stay tuned.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong. We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge.
See, Nikunj, you are a very seasoned market observer, and therefore you may hit the nail on the head.
I think you have always kept the focus on the retail investor, and I think it's again a very apt, very good question.
Nikunj, first of all, thank you so much. You are one person I've always enjoyed interacting throughout last 15-20 years.
You know, the problem on coming on your channel is that you already know everything. I just heard your introduction. And what can anybody add to that?
Stock markets is a numbers game, and it sometimes does come across as one-dimensional. But what people don't see is that these numbers, when strung together, tell a story. There's no really black or white. It very much seems to be a work in progress of triumphs and mistakes, greed and fear. And I bring you that story behind the numbers in action.
The personal finance show that helps you achieve all your financial dreams.
This show gets you everything that you need to know about your money, how to earn more, invest smartly, and spend while getting the best bang for your buck.
From the perfect home to early retirement and everything in between.
Real estate, everyone knows, is an asset that Indians absolutely love, maybe even more than gold.
Join us every weekday at 5 p.m. on the ET Money Show. Investment made easy. Only on ET Now.
With each passing...
You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now. We're in conversation with Avinash Gorakshakar as well as Kunal Bothra, and we are taking a viewer queries. The next question is coming in from Neil, and Neil is asking about Sunshield Chemicals. It's a BSE listed counter. He's gotten at levels of 522, and he says he's stuck in this investment. Avinash, what's the view on this stock? Should he exit? Should he hold on?
Alex, this is a very small specialty chemical company, and basically the revenues are not very large, roughly about 250 crores for FY22, with a profit after tax of roughly about 26 to 27 crores. But on the operational EBITDA side, this business is extremely low margin. It makes a EBITDA of hardly 35, 36 crores. So, in terms of the opportunity growth and the kind of growth potential, I think, the company has limited growth prospects. The only positive part is that the company has a small equity base, and that is why, on an earnings per share basis, the stock may look attractive. But definitely, there are many other choices in the chemical sector, especially companies like, Navin Fluorine, or for that reason, Deepak Nitrite. I think if the investor wants a decent risk reward and a better, well-managed kind of company where growth possibilities are huge, I think he should switch over. This is a very small micro cap stock, and I think definitely in most of these smaller companies, the risk reward may look good, but the liquidity aspect is definitely on the negative side.
Just a quick reminder to both of our experts, we'll need to keep the answer a bit crisp because we have a lot of viewer queries actually pending, a lot of them in fact. Let me take this next one that I've got from Hemanta Datta. KPR Mills wants 3 to 6 months view, Kunal. The price that was purchased was 569 rupees and 40 shares.
Well, you can continue to hold on. Possibly for the next 2 to 6 months, I would suggest the target range closer to 650 for KPR Mills.
Okay, Sunny's got a question on Indiabulls Real Estate, bought at levels of 99. There was news on Embassy Group taking over. What should the strategy be? Avinash, what's the view?
Yeah, I think this company has seen a massive destruction in value, Alex. So I think, shareholders who already purchased it can wait for the, merger deal to happen, because there's no point in booking such a big loss. Hopefully they should be getting, Embassy India shares. That would be the only advice to them as of now.
Okay, the next one is also coming your way, Avinash, and it's on Avanti Feeds. Ujwal wants a fundamental view on this particular counter. He's not mentioned whether he's purchased it already or no, but nevertheless, what's your take on Avanti Feeds?
I think Avanti Feeds, Cheryl, is one of the larger companies which is into shrimp exports as well as shrimp feed. And I think numbers have been pretty good for March 22. In fact, it's a debt-free business and generates a decent return on capital and return on equity. So I think if he can hold on for the next, say, 12 to 15 months, he should expect a decent risk reward here.
Bhuvaneshwar is asking this next question, both in the power space. Adani Power as well as Tata Power, both acquired. Adani Power at levels of 310, Tata Power at levels of 225. Kunal is seeking a 3-month view. Should he hold on?
Well, I would suggest to hold on to Tata Power. Adani Power, I think you can probably look to maybe book out profits, assuming if the stock comes, say, about your cost price and maybe 10 rupees, 15 rupees higher from those levels. That could be a point where you can look to exit. But Tata Power is something which I would suggest to hold on, not just for the next 3 to 6 months, but possibly if you can hold on to it for at least the next couple of years, the real potential could get unleashed for Tata Power in those kind of time frames.
Okay, this one is from Mr. K.R. Balan, and Mr. Balan is back after months of vacation. Welcome back, Mr. Balan. He wants to know whether he should buy KPIT Tech for the medium term, or is there any other IT counter which he should look at? What's your take on this one? Avinash, KPIT Tech makes sense for the medium term?
I think my sense is that if he has a 2-year view, then only he should buy this stock, that too in SIPs and not in lump sum, because the kind of headwinds we are seeing in the technology space, it could happen for the next couple of quarters. Growth momentum may be a little slow. Margins could come under pressure. So longer term, I think if he wants to buy, he should definitely buy in smaller lots and take a longer term time frame of at least 1.5 to 2 years. Definitely this company should do well because they are largely in the electric vehicle space, catering to the global automotive sector.
Kabir Bedi from Punjab says that July is not going too well. It's not a particularly lucky month because we haven't taken a query. We're amending that right now. Kabir Bedi from Punjab is asking about Rushil Decor at the current level. Kunal, this one's for you. For the next 2 to 3 months, would you suggest a fresh entry?
Well, you can look to go for a fresh entry over here, but the only catch is that is this one of the best stocks which you've outlined from the entire mid-cap space or from the large-cap space? So I think that could be a bit thought over in terms of your investing or your trading decision. Specifically on Rushil Decor, the stock I think is at 464.65 approximately at current levels. I think the 2-month or the 3-month high for the stock was around 600 mark for itself. So possibly the stock can try and come back towards the midpoint of this range for itself, maybe closer to that 500 mark. That could be the next 3-month target for Rushil Decor. But again, as I said, that you have to try and look out for more quality names in this kind of a market rally and just go in for very short-term trades into these kind of stocks.
Okay, this one is from Shivang Pandya, and apologies Shivang, we've not been able to take your queries. You've been writing to us since last week. He wants a view on Tata Steel. He's saying that after the split, he's bought about 100 shares at around 889 rupees per share. He wants a long-term view on Tata Steel. What's your take on Tata Steel, Avinash?
Yeah, I think clearly, if you look at the current state of the metal cycle, it appears to be quite weak. And recent reports of JSW Steel have actually confirmed this, that profitability has come down significantly. So I think as far as Tata Steel is concerned, despite the fact that it's an integrated player, it has reduced debt significantly on the balance sheet. I think in the very near term, you could expect a little bit of pressure on the company's profitability, and obviously the stock price may remain in a very small range. The near-term upside is limited. So I would say that, unless the investor has got a couple of years in mind, only then he should hang on, because unlike earlier, the metal cycle has corrected and therefore big upside on this stock is not possible. So, you should keep that in mind. In the short term, the stock may underperform.
The name of the next counter we're talking about, Aarti is asking whether she should book profits right now in HUL and deploy later, and in the meanwhile, should she put money into Happiest Minds and KPR Mills, one of the two, or maybe both? Kunal, what's the view?
See, the first one I would not suggest to book out profits and then exiting that quality name into buying, these kind of mid-cap stocks. But then out of the two which you've highlighted, I would probably go with KPR Mills. We discussed this earlier. Just a while back that KPR Mills is a stock which you can look to trade as well as look to invest as well. The stock had done reasonably well over a longish term time frame as well. So that's one stock which you can look out for. But then at the cost of HUL, that would be a no from my side.
Okay, this one is coming from Dheeraj, and Dheeraj wants a view on Jubilant Foodworks. He's wondering whether this particular counter will reach around 700 to 750 rupees levels in the short term, Kunal.
Well, yes, I think there is a possibility that Jubilant Food can try and come back to that 700 mark. I think it's doing reasonably well, trying to absorb so much of negativity and the price damage the stock had seen. The news flow which had happened for Jubilant Food almost a month back with regards to the change in management. I think from there, the stock has found its foot back again on the upside. It's now trying to make a pattern of higher highs and higher lows. That's a positive for Jubilant Food. I would expect the stock to gain substantially higher from current levels.
Okay, Kunal, I'm not sure I have all of the information, but I'm still going to take this question to you. We've got Krishna Kumar from Coimbatore. He said that he's bought NBCC last week based on your recommendations, 1,000 shares, and he's saying that it's declining. But what should his strategy be? He's not really given me his time frame. He's asking whether to hold or average at this juncture.
So NBCC, yes, is one of my call. My earlier targets were 35, then I raised it higher to 37 for NBCC because the stock was doing reasonably well. Now the stock has come back to the initial price of 32, where I had given a buy call for NBCC. So I would say that it's a stock which would take its time, but then the market structure right now indicates that there could be more 2-3 days of mild weakness on the indices. So if you can just hold on for the next couple of days, possibly that could be a good time where you can look to maybe even average further for NBCC. I would expect the stock as well as the overall markets to do substantially better for themselves over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Maybe this week, start of this week, we could be more for some sort of a tepid days of market action.
All right, no doubt. I know that everyone's watching the line graphs on the screen, and yes, it's showing some sort of an error. Would request my producer to just check it and just stick with the stock name and the price for now. Moving on, this one is coming from Rajagopalan, and he wants a technical review on Reddington. Kunal, is it a good time to buy this particular counter? Do you think a good time will arise anytime soon to purchase this one?
See, I think Reddington is a good stock. It has done reasonably well from the pandemic lows. But then when I look at the previous history, 2015 to 2019 or 20, the stock had been absolutely sideways. So that inherently tells me that the tendency of the stock is to get into more time-wise correction rather than more strong price action. So, if you have a longer term time frame, only then it makes sense to buy the stock, because assuming if it moves in a 5-year cycle, and for the next couple of years, if the stock remains more sideways, you could be in for more of patience testing on a stock like Redington. So I would suggest Redington as a good bet, only if you have a longer term time horizon. By that, I mean at least 3 to 5 years, if not more.
Okay. Kumar from Tamil Nadu is asking about Advanced Enzymes, which he's bought at levels of 380, and Glenmark Life Science, which he's bought at levels of 672. He's asking what the strategy should be from the fundamental perspective. Avinash, this one's for you. Should he book at this juncture? Should he hold? Should he switch to something else? What's the view?
Yes, Advanced Enzymes is concerned, I think he should continue to hold on. This is one of those primary export-oriented companies which makes enzymes and which have numerous applications. In fact, the company is a market leader in this space. So I would believe that despite the underperformance in the stock, if the investor has got a 12 to 18 months time frame, he should hold on. And as far as Glenmark Life Sciences is concerned, I think the investor should exit, because ever since the IPO has happened, the stock has underperformed significantly. In fact, profitability has improved. But considering the fact that the company's CRDO and CDMO divisions have also not got scaled up the way they had anticipated earlier, I would believe that if the investor wants, he could possibly shift to some other frontline pharma company like either a Sun Pharma or a Torrent Pharma, where I think the risk reward could be significantly better.
Okay, before we kickstart with the rapid fire, let me take another one. This one is coming from Jay Krishnan. Divi's Laboratories purchased at the price of 4,182 rupees per share. What should I do? Hold, sell, or average? And if average, then what levels? If exit, then please suggest another one. A lot of questions bundled in one. Kunal, what's your take?
I would suggest to exit at current levels, even though the stock is down some 300 points from your initial cost price, because my sense is that Divi's Lab could get into a corrective phase sooner than later. So selling at current levels and then buying, maybe if the stock corrects, comes back towards 3,400, 500 levels, that could be a much better strategy.
Okay, all right. It's time to hit the rapid fire segment, and both of you know what this is about, Kunal as well as Avinash, so I'm just going to get started. The question is on Hitachi Energy or Siemens. This is from RK. Would you suggest getting into one of these for the next 1 year, Kunal?
Well, Siemens could be a stock which you can look out for out of the two.
Okay, Aisha Motors, do you think it's worth buying it for the short term at current price? Malaysia wants to know, Kunal.
Well, absolutely, yes. I think the stock has done reasonably well. 3,000 levels is approximately where its resistance is for Aisha Motors. So may take some time to consolidate, but it's a good buy.
Okay, on the auto space, Avinash, Aisha Motors, Mahindra & Mahindra as well as TVS. Would you suggest a fresh entry into any one of these? Kiruba wants to know.
One could look at Mahindra & Mahindra over the next 12 to 15 months. Here, the risk reward is pretty strong, and one could expect a price of around 1,300 to say 1,300.
Okay, Avinash, Jairaj wants to know if Marksans Pharma is a good bet for the long term.
I think Marksans Pharma is a good bet for long term, and I think the company has now initiated a buyback also. So probably that could also help the company shareholders in getting a better return going forward.
Zara is an avoid, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the view for Vedant Madhav from Prayagraj. This one's for you, Aarti Industries, 895 is the buy price. This is from Manikandan. Kunal, should you average at this point?
Yes, you should look to average at current levels.
Okay, Nikhil wants a technical view on Jindal Steel and Power. He's purchased this counter at the price of 360.75. Kunal, what should he do?
Well, I think it's trading at those levels exactly. I think 3-4 points higher. I think you should continue to hold on.
Balkrishna Industries or Sumitomo Chemicals? This is the question for Avinash. What's the view? Abhishek wants to know.
I think both these companies look pretty interesting, but Sumitomo looks more well positioned, considering the fact that agrochemical business should do well over the next 12 to 15.
Okay, we have Manish Raju holding about 150 shares of Macrotech, as well as Tata Steel also he's holding. But he wants to know, should he continue to hold on with Lodha or look to switch to something else altogether? Kunal?
To hold on.
All right. Well, that's unfortunately the end of the query segment and the rapid fire round. Kunal as well as Avinash, thank you so much for joining in. Always a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you so much for taking all the queries that you did take today. We have to slip into a very quick break, but do stay tuned. More on the other side.
Raj, happiness multiply करने के लिए तुम किस पे डिपेंड करते हो?
This market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you participated on every decline, you've actually made money.